So hey guys, back again. So in the last video we created the folder with installation, okay, and this is just a React installation with React Redux and React Router DOM, okay. So it's time to start building our application. So let's minimize that. Also, we've created our project in Firebase, and we have this running, okay. Let me show you, okay, everything is running, and we can start creating the store, okay. So inside this one, inside the store folder, we are going to create the store.js, and okay, I forgot one last thing, that is the Redux tongue. Okay, so let's check that. Redux tongue. Forgot that to add that in the first video. So let me get, where the hell is that? Okay, install Redux tongue. Paste. You can check here what it does and all that. Okay, it's mostly side effects, including synchronous, so that needs access to the store, and like the requests, HTTP requests, XHR requests. So yeah, it's going to allow us to create the actions. So okay, this is installing. We can wait for that to install. I mean, we can add everything else. So I'm just going to copy these lines because we are going to need apply middleware and create a store from Redux, okay, and we're going to import right now the reducers. Although there's nothing inside that, we're going to create a new folder there, not a new folder, but a new file called reducers in a second, okay, and we're going to import that. So let's import that right away. We're going to create the store. Okay, copy that and paste it. There's nothing more than just creating and creating and importing or the things that we need from Redux. Okay, so inside the create store, we're going to add the reducers and the middleware. The middleware is going to be, let me copy that. It's going to be tongue, Redux tongue, okay, and we're going to export what we have. Okay, it installed. So let's say npm start. So this is just the basic configuration. Okay. Okay, we are not using the middleware. Let me copy that and paste it back. So now we are using tongue from Redux tongue. Let's close that and we save. Okay, this is the store, and we export the store so we can use it. Now we're going to create the first reducer, okay, just to have that already added. So let's add a new file inside reducers. There's going to be the reducers.js. So let me okay, so here we're going to import the reducers, the other files. Okay, we're going to create several reducers inside this folder, and this is going to be the main file that adds all those reducers and export them. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, without having anything else, let's say constant reducers is going to be equal to combine reducers. But yeah, okay, it adds that. Nice. And inside here we add a object, okay, an object. So let's add a semicolon there, and we export default. Although there's nothing inside that, we export the reducers. Okay, so this file although there's nothing else, gets the information, okay, gets the reducers right now. Okay, now we're going to go to the index, and this is all the configuration we need. Okay, we're going to go to the index and add our browser router. So this is from React Router DOM. Okay, this has nothing to do with the store, but we are going to add it right now. So this is pretty fast. We import browser router from React Router DOM. Okay, and we wrap our application into this browser router. Okay, just like that. And let's tap this a little bit. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, and we have the routes, or this browser router that is going to allow us to have the routing in our application. Okay, let's go now with, okay, we already have the store, so we're going to import the store inside our app.js. Okay, let me find that, app.js. And after that, we're going to start creating the components. Okay, this is all to just have everything ready, so we don't have to add it later. So let's delete all this. No, not the header. Let's keep the header and say h1 by now. Oh no, let's not do this, because we're going to do the header inside the main. You can keep it as a fragment and add it on another file. I don't know, whatever you want. I'm just going to build it like that because I just want the header inside one place, and so I don't need it to have its own state or its own file. What we need is a navigation, but we will check why we need that to be on its own file. Okay, so now we're going to just copy something that we're going to build, okay, in a second. So let me remove all this crap, and we're going to copy the routes, although we don't have that, and the navigation. So let's continue with that. So what we're going to do now is create the routes inside the source. Okay, so let's say routes.js, and let's create a simple component right now that is going to be the main, so we can have one route. Okay, just to have everything done. So this is a main.js, not h.js. Okay, and just a simple component. I forgot to install the emmet, so I'm just going to do something. Okay, I'm just going to copy what we first need, that is React, and use a fake right now because that is what we're going to use. Okay, so all this is to have our application ready. Let's copy this constant. This is kind of the boilerplate, so let's copy this. This is going to create, I know some of you won't like that I'm copying all this, but this is just creating the main component. Okay, and we can export default the main, and we can use that inside our routes. Okay, so we can come to our routes and import what we have. So we need some things here. We need React from React, and we need switch and route from React Router DOM. Okay, now we can import here the components. Okay, so let's say import main, not main, but main from Okay, where it is inside components, okay, and is the main file. So now we're going to create these routes. That is the file that we're going to use here, okay. And here we add the switch, and we add our first route. Okay, no, let's self-close it like that, and it's going to be the exact path to the main route, or the main route, yeah, however, component. Okay, we need this component, and the component that we are going to render when we hit this path is going to be the main component. Okay, so that's the only thing we need there. And with this one route, we're going to export default routes. So now routes has something, and we can add it inside. Okay, just give me a second. This is a big freaking file, so I'm just looking for something. Okay, so as I said, we can create our routes. We still don't have the nav, so let me just add this like that. We are going to take the nav in a second, but remember that we just created the store. Okay, no, this not it, the store, so we can add it inside here. So let's import it by hand. Import a store from, okay, from a store, and the file is called store. And let's import something that we need, that is the provider, from React Redux. Okay, so we need the provider, and we need to wrap our application inside this provider, and we need to add the store, okay, that this is needed, and it's going to be in this curly braces, the store we are importing. So let's take that away and paste it down here. So now our application has access. Okay, so if you want to use context, because I've been checking some videos about people that say React, Redux is not needed. Well, you will need Redux, because in some big applications, pretty complex applications, it's going to make your life easier. Okay, but you can use context, but what you will need to do is to create a wrapper, because context allows us to share or state to the children components. Okay, it's something like this, but it's not going to allow us to have it on the at least I was trying that in this file. Okay, so what you will need to do is to create a wrapper. Okay, to create a wrapper, how can I say this, a wrapper component, and inside that wrapper component import all your context, okay, and use it there. And inside that wrapper you will add the rest of your application, okay. So you would do that, but that's the only problem with context, that you need to manage all your files inside a wrapper, all your components, because it only allows us to have the state inside the children we're wrapping, but it doesn't. In my case, I was trying to do it like this in this application. It didn't give me the option, okay, to handle the user authentication and the adding the state to the to the rest of the application. So I'm not pretty good with React. Okay, I'm not an expert, but I've seen people that this is just a slight pause. I see people that say Redux is not needed. Yeah, sometimes you will not need Redux if you are using simple application. Okay, something like this. In this case, you could use simple set state and use effect to handle this, but this will allow you to understand why we might need Redux in some applications. Okay, just to have it everything separated and in not having all the state inside this. Some things that you will face if you are using or if you are creating really big applications. And also, if you find a job that it requires you to use Redux, some people are not going to say, okay, because this developer says it doesn't need it. No, the application requires it. The application allows or Redux allows us to have everything cleaner, and people are still going to use it. So I don't know why we are in this trend that we don't need Redux in order to create big applications. We don't need Redux in order to create small applications or medium applications. So let's continue with what we have. So we are creating this, we added the provider and the store. So what we're going to do now is to create our navigation. Okay, so we're going to import the navigation and let's create it. And I'm just going to create it like so. Here you say nav.js. Okay, and let me go to my components and check the nav. This is a pretty big file, but I'm going to just add what we need. So what we need right now, we're going to import what we need to use. Okay, that we need to use effect and use state. So we have everything already connected. So we're going to use, okay, not that, Control C, Control B, link, and with router, okay, we're going to skip all this. And in a second, we're going to create a configuration from Firebase. Okay, so we haven't done that. So let's say constant nav. Right now, fuck it, let's do it right now. So here we're going to have access to the props. Okay, if I can freaking type. So we are going to have access to the props because we need the props in order to check some authentication features. Okay, so we need that. We're not going to create anything else right now. Okay, so we are going to keep that as it is right now. So we're going to export default nav that we already are importing inside our application. Let's just say, okay, I forgot something. Okay, this is with router, just like that. Let's copy this. Yes, let's copy the nav. So let's say here return. Okay, let me just, I don't want to do this. I want to tap this a little bit and add some spacing and add that there and close this. Okay, so we can check the application after all this configuration. Okay, so this is our React navigation. Okay, not React, but this is our navigation. So in this case, we're not using props right now because we're going to need this in the future because we need to check the user, okay, using the store we have and using the state. So let's actually, this is running. Okay. Let's disconnect. Refresh is necessary. Let's refresh. Okay, as expecting an assignment function call instead, so an expression routes.js line 9. So let's check that. Routes.js, not the store, I'm blind. Why? Let me go to my routes. Switch. This is a function. Constant routes is for default routes. Component main. Okay, let me see if it says line 9 switch. Oh yeah, because I did it wrong. Okay, this is going to render this. You can use the curly braces, okay, if you want to add some kind of validation, if else whatever inside this. But since we're just going to render, we're going to use a higher order component in order to manage the routings in case someone is not logged in, okay, or authenticated. So we only need to render that. So let's save it. Okay, let's refresh to see store does not have a value reducer. Okay, we understand that. So let's save that in case. Okay, nav is not defined. So let's line 14 app.js. Okay, because so this should. Okay, sorry about that. This is just the naming. And so it's like, what the hell? So let me just rename my things, okay? Because I have it. Sorry about this, but yes. And that's why I should follow my own. So we're exporting nav. So main, okay. Don't open that. Open this. And we have store doesn't have a value reducer. So let's create right now a reducer, because it's going to tell us that we need a reducer. Okay, so what we're going to do now is create just a basic reducer. That is the first that we're going to use. I think we're going to start with authentication just to have that out of the way. So let's go to reducers. Okay, so yeah, Redux has some a lot of boilerplate. So yeah, we're going to create a sign up. Do I have it like that? I just want to keep my sign in, my naming convention. So we have this, okay? So a sign in is going to be constant create user. Okay, if there's any other problem, we're going to fix those, but right now it says that we don't have a reducer. So let's say state is going to be, okay, the user that is, since it's going to return as an object, okay, we're going to set the default state as an empty object, and after this we're going to receive the action. So we're going to handle this saying if the action that type equals create user, then we're going to set the state to have the user payload user sorry, it's not like that, is action that payload. Okay, and then we return the state. So what it says right here, and what? Okay, why is this thing happening? So we have the create if so we close this one. Okay, let me see if this is the problem. Oh, I know, I think I know why. Because that is not needed there. I don't know why I closed that like that. So we don't need that, and we can export. So all that is should be fine. We can export default or create user and add it inside our reducers. So here we are going to say import. So let me go to my reducer so I have everything correct. Create user from sign in. Okay, and here we're going to name it. So let's say sign in, just like that, and create user. So this is going to be the name we're going to access, okay, in the reducers. And it's going to have, or it's going to redirect us in terms of functionality to this create user reducer. So that should get rid of that. So it says routes is defined but never used. Okay, let's actually go to app.js and add our routes. So let's say nav. So this should come from the nav. Let's say if that is correct. Okay, so we can see now our navigation. We need that outside of our routes. Okay, so we don't want our navigation to be re-rendered every time. So now we can use our routes. And what it says is nothing was returned from render. Okay. Random render browser router. So what could be the problem here? Maybe the routes. Okay, let's see what the console says. It's clear, blah 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 blah, all that shit. So let's see components main. Okay, just let me see what this could, why this could be wrong. Browser router is being imported, right? We imported that, so let's go to not app.js but index.js. I don't have that opened. Okay, so we have browser router, and all that should be working. So let's just delete this. Let's see what happens. Okay, it says we don't have a route. So let me redefine this. Routes, where the hell I'm okay, routes. So we just switch just in case there's something wrong with that. Okay, I'm exporting routes. Okay, so that should be working. Okay, so it says okay, then let's go to index, and I'm going to check my index too. So this should be okay. Let me just to see if this is no, if this is actually problem. I don't think this is the problem, but sometimes, okay. So returning null, so let's say this. Browser router, so this should be returning. Let me close this and let me refresh this. Okay, it says the same. Violation main. Okay. I think I know what's going on. Yep. We forgot to add. Well, I forgot to add. And okay, so that's the problem. Okay, that was a little sloppy from my part. So let's say return. Just only say return to finish this part. Okay, and we're going to return a React fragment. Okay, and let's say only, let's add the header. There's going to be this. The image, we're going to delete it right now. We're not going to worry about that. And now this should, okay. So we can see we have the basic boilerplate. We have, we still don't have the components, okay? But right now we have something in the screen, in the browser. And, okay, let me just toggle this sheet. So we can see everything, although it is just a paragraph and h1 and nothing else. So the header is going to be here inside the main, and since I said we're going to start with the sign in order to keep the navigation, okay, yeah, to get rid of that, because that's the kind of the most annoying part. So in the next video we're going to start with the navigation and the sign in and login, okay, and of course logout. So we have all that away, and we start with application. So at that point the authentication is going to be working, okay, it's just going to be there, but we're going to disconnect that from the rest of the application, okay, so we can continue creating the rest of the components. So yeah, 30 minutes, I think that's a nice time. So now we have all the boilerplate, and we have our basic reducer, a reducer that we are going to use right now, and we're going to create an action for that. And in the next video we're going to start using Firebase. So yeah, and yes, we're going to keep in the next video.